ridiculous.
Valkyrie ドライブお話の始まりだよ。
Alright, welcome to my brand new series, Valkyrie Drive, from the creators of Senran Kagura. I should probably explain why this is on the channel. Okay, if you watched my Persona 4 Golden playthrough, you might have seen in my last video that I mentioned I'm gonna need to think of a decent fourth game to come up with to kind of follow up Persona 4 the Golden. My initial plans were to play Tokyo Mirage Sessions because, Shin Megami Tensei plus Fire Emblem seems like the next, logical step to take for the channel. As I mentioned before, currently I do not have easy access to my Wii U, so that's a bit of a problem. So then I thought, okay, well I feel like the next game should be kind of an RPG, So I had a few ideas. Unfortunately, this playstyle I usually go for, to expedite time and grinding and, pointless random encounters is usually the New Game Plus style of playthrough, and I had a few RPGs in mind. Problem is, I am not on New Game Plus for any of them. So, that was a bit of a problem. So I tried to think, what would be a decent, middle point between Persona 4 the Golden and Persona 5? My initial idea was, hey, you know what? Jet Set Radio seems pretty cool, because that's about, youths rebelling. Also, they're playing the intro cinematic again. My initial plans were Jet Set Radio, because, hey, that's youths rebelling against the system. That works. Problem is, I frickin' suck at Jet Set Radio. I am absolute garbage at it. And I'd like to have at least some form of competency on, my Let's Plays. I might not be a master at a lot of them, but I want to show that I can at least get through a stage without looking like a frickin' jackass. So now we get to the question of why the hell did I choose Valkyrie Drive as, the fourth game in the rotation? I don't know. I really don't. I was looking at it on Amazon, I was like, you know what? I'm seriously spacing for a fourth game. Valkyrie Drive seems pretty easy. Seems like it'd be a short and sweet game. It's got anime, so that's kind of close to P4G and Persona 5. That's close enough, right? It's got waifus. And also, Valkyrie Drive seems really super easy. Mainly because, I figured Valkyrie Drive is super short, should be pretty easy. Then again, this is sort of a blind playthrough. But, it plays very similarly, but, it's from the same creators of Senran Kagura, and I played Senran Kagura before. Don't judge. Okay, do judge, because, yeah, whatever. And it plays very similar to that, almost identically. which that actually plays very similar to the Dynasty Warriors games, which is pretty much hammer the button until the enemies fall down. So this is pretty much Dynasty Warriors, but with a lot more fan service. A lot more Yuri fan service. Which I'm okay with. This is either gonna make or break my channel, I don't know. Or maybe it'll do nothing. I don't frickin' know. Anyway, here are our main protagonists, Rinka and Ranka. They're sisters, by the way. Yeah, that anime cutscene movie you had to watch twice? Mm-hmm. Where they make out? They're sisters. Because Japan. And also, there is no English dub for this. So I don't really know that much about Valkyrie Drive. Okay, so, fun fact, this is kind of going to be somewhat of a blind playthrough. As in, I have no idea what the story is of this game. The only thing I know about Valkyrie Drive is, first off, if I had to give it a description, it'd be weaponized lesbians. Or weaponized Yuri, I suppose would be the appropriate term for anime. It's girls make out with each other, one of them turns into a weapon that the other one uses to kick a major amount of ass. And that's about it. And the other thing I know about this game is that it was apparently popular enough to spawn a spin-off anime called Valkyrie Drive Mermaid. And I keep getting reminded about this because every time I go into like Right Stuff to look at DVDs and stuff like that, this for some reason keeps popping up on the main page. I don't know why. Because like, I don't watch ecchi anime. I don't watch like overly fan servicey anime. Like, my anime preferences are, you know, kind of boiled down to JoJo, Tiger and Bunny, Cowboy Bebop, My Hero Academia, you know, the usual bits. It doesn't really go into, like, fan service overdrive. Oh, and speaking of fan service, get used to that. Like, the breast physics in this game, you know what, you should probably expect it from the frickin' creators of Senran Kagura. Yeah, they just go from 0 to 100 in, like, 3 seconds. It's ridiculous, I swear. So anyway, robots. And also, you know, I know that Persona had some fanservice-y bits here and there, but at the very least, the female characters in that game did not have their frickin' thongs showing directly from their skirts. But then again, I'm not a prude, I don't care. I bought the game. Clearly I'm not going to judge. I'm cool with the premise. I actually kind of like the premise. It's so frickin' stupid and ridiculous and over the fucking top and beyond fan service that it kind of is, it's a little awesome, I have to say. And also the game's kind of fun. It adds its own unique twist on the whole Dynasty Warriors gameplay. And also, this is a little late mentioning, I also like the little detail where they has the little pixel sprites in the corner to show you which character's talking. It kind of shows like a cute little chibi portrait of them with their weapons attached. So you kind of get an idea of how they're gonna, what weapons they're gonna be using and how their fighting style is gonna be. Oh god. You would have thought that, like, just from, like, the get-go, that Ranka would be the, like, hot-blooded, doesn't think all the way through, and Rinka would have been the smart, older one who, like, is very cautious and very, like, mindful of everything.
話せば分かってくれないかな。侵入者を排除せよ。排除せよ。聞く耳持たないみたいだよ。ここを通してもらえないと島の人を探すこともできないね。
So, you know, common misunderstanding. They don't have their passes? May as well just beat the shit out of the guards. I'm not even gonna comment on the breast physics anymore, because that's the most tame thing about this frickin' game. That's about as subtle as it gets, just the frickin' physics so far. It's gonna get a lot more ridiculous later on. And this is only the first episode, folks. Get ready for it to get really frickin' crazy. Oh my goodness. So this is just your basic tutorial. Although, this game does do something that I find, that Dynasty Warriors, or at least that the Dynasty Warriors or Samurai Warriors games have kind of lacked. And I might be wrong. They might have done something new with the whole Spirit of Sanada thing, or in some of the other Dynasty Warrior, Samurai Warrior games. But there's not as much focus on, like, aerial combat, which this game, like, has a huge focus on. Of, like, doing aerial combat and juggles and stuff like that. And launchers. It's awesome. You'd think a game like this, and Senran Kagura, the only reason they sell is due to fan service. And I'm sure that's the main reason why. But the gameplay of this is surprisingly competent. It's actually pretty fun. Sure, it's, again, the Dynasty Warriors spiel of just, like, hit until dead. Like, repeatedly press the square button and occasionally throw in a triangle button here and there. But this game is pretty fun, I have to say. Am I trying to justify my purchase of this overly, like, fan-servicey, bordering on the cusp of hentai? Yes, but at the same time, it's also legitimately kind of fun. And also, if you want to be a huge pervert, you can use the gyro controls and look up their skirts. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to have a little bit of dignity in this playthrough. I said a little bit. Clearly, you know, I'm going to be casting aside a lot of it here and there. So there are RPG aspects of this. You can level up your characters and make them stronger. And see, it's also kind of cool, because and see, this game kind of fits into the rotation because it's another Valkyrie game. They actually spelled Valkyrie correctly. Yeah, and you can... Yeah, I haven't mentioned this yet. You can play dress-up with the main characters. That includes their lingerie. I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna hold off on that. Again, I'm gonna try my best to maintain some form of dignity with this game. I know I probably already shot myself in the foot already, but you know. And I like these little splash screens that they have for the loading screens sometimes. They're pretty cool. Okay, now Rinka is pretty fun to use, but honestly if I had to choose between her or Ronka, I'd go with Ronka. Because Ronka just like goes, fuck it, she goes straight up Tifa Lockhart and just starts beating the shit out of people with just her bare hands. I always appreciate that in a character. I like me a monk. Hello, here's our next character. Of course, they have to go with the Shrine Maiden outfit. Because, of course, this game wouldn't be complete without that. I might be backtracking a little bit, but they had to show that intro, like that anime cinematic twice? Really? That just seemed weird. That just seems a bit weird to me, that they had to replay it twice. Like, I guess they're assuming that you might have skipped it, like, when you're first starting up the game. But, whatever. Anyway, here's Mana. Mana's pretty cool. She uses a bow and arrow. Rinka and Ranka's parents weren't that creative when they were naming them, were they? Just one letter away, huh? Two kind girls. Yes, the two kind girls who just beat the shit out of the island security. Just because they forgot their friggin' passes.
ほっとするのも安心するのも勝手だけどさ、状況は変わってないよ。入党手続きはどうするの？私たち許可証もなくしたし、寝るところも決まってないんだよ。See, it's kind of defying expectations because you think Ranka would be the hot-blooded one, but here she's kind of doing the kanji effect, where she's kind of like, you know, okay, our situation's kind of fucked. Oh my god. Rinka and Ranka, like, get surprised the exact same way. So here's the director of the island. I don't even want to try pronouncing that island name. I know it's the name of the game, but still, Bhikkhuni? 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 Fuck it. やっとそれっぽい人に会えた。神楽坂凛子さんとランカさん、それに稲川真奈さんね。はい、私が神楽坂凛子です。こっちが妹のランカで、私が稲川真奈です。それともう一人同じ船で着いた子がいるはずなんだけど。
So we're missing one girl, are we? Interesting. I wonder where she went to.
どこに行っちゃったんだろう。どうしたのお姉ちゃん。誰かに突然胸を揉まれ。
Of course they did. Why wouldn't they? Not shown on screen, but fucking... Oh, here's our mystery fourth girl. She's like a ninja. Because of course you need one of those. You know, I'm not even gonna dignify that statement with a response. Okay, seriously? I can't tell. Oh, this is gonna be a long game. This is gonna be a long-ass game. I smell a cat fight. You know, Mana brought up that Rinka's, you know, more well-endowed than her. But can you tell? They all look like there's not a single girl in this entire game who is not frickin' stacked to the hilt. Like, seriously. Like, it's not like with Senran Kagura where there are a few girls who have, you know, regular proportions. Here, it's just like frickin' Hitomi J-Cup shit. Well, maybe not that ridiculous, but you know. Shit. Also, surprisingly enough, for a game that's about, like, girls making out and turn into weapons and, like, a supreme amount of fan service, this game is surprisingly plot-heavy. There's a lot of talking in it. Already, we're having ourselves a little rivalry here. Again, Ranka's way cooler, though, I have to say. I like how straightforward and hot-blooded Ranka is at sometimes. Again, her weapon is just her punching people. And then she gets, like, massive-ass gauntlets. We'll get into that soon enough. Anyway, if you didn't catch it, Momo's weapon of choice is a lance. So that's pretty cool.
みんなはどこまで話を聞いてこの島へ来たのかしら。私は V ウイルスというものに感染していて、その治療のためにこの島に送られたと聞いています。私たちも同じです。でもそれだけしか知りません。
So the main plot of this game, again, I'm all over the place with my commentary right now, mainly because this is a lot to take in, what with everything on screen. Basically, apparently girls of a certain age have been coming down with this virus that's allowing them to transform into weapons. That's just a virus that they have. I don't get it. I'm not sure, how this happened. It's kind of like a perverted version of Soul Eater. Only, it's beyond their control, sort of. Because they can kind of, maintain control of, when they turn into weapons and when they don't. Either way, they're trying to get it, cured. And the island that they're on right now is the best bet to, get themselves cured of this V virus. But as the intro cutscene already mentioned, the only way they can cure it is by fighting. Which means cat fights. Cat fight the anime.
なんだか私たちの病気が普通は治らないみたいに聞こえるんですけど、その認識で間違っていないわ。V ウイルスを完全にコントロールしたという報告はありません。このビクニの外ではね。
Is there any real downside to the virus? Unless it turns them into a weapon permanently, it seems pretty cool. Like I said before, a decent anime they can compare this to is Soul Eater. I don't know if anybody, how many of you guys might have watched Soul Eater, but basically it's there's Meisters and then there's weapons. Certain kids can turn into weapons that the Meisters can use in conjunction. That's why they're partnered up. So this is basically what that is. Only with lesbian kissing. I said it's a more perverted version of Soul Eater. Anyway. But it's there's no real downside to it, because they haven't, mentioned that any of the characters are just stuck as weapons. Whatever. I guess it is a bit, awkward to just say, oh, I can turn into a weapon. I don't know. Whatever.
誰に聞かされたか知らないけど、雑な説明ね。困ったものだわ。ただ、間違いでもないのよ。
So Momo is of course the cold and emotionless girl who only wants to get stronger and has no need for friends.
V ウイルスは強大な力と未知の可能性を秘めています。その力を制御できないせいで思いがけない事故を起こして
I'm very curious as to why they couldn't get an English dub cast for this. I'm not complaining with the Japanese voiceover, but maybe they just couldn't find any voice actresses who were willing enough to say half of the shit in this game.
V ウイルスの感染者にとってもそれ以外の者にとっても喜ばしいことではありません。そういった事態を二度と起こさないためにも V ウイルスを思いのままにコントロールする術を得ること。そのために V ウイルスの力を使ってお互いに戦い合うことで能力を磨いてもらいます。それが V ウイルスの治療につながるの。クズリュウさんが言ったことが
I know it's kind of immature to just make fun of how a word sounds, but the way she says V virus is just kind of cute. I don't know. V virus.
それは言葉通りに解釈してもいいんだな。ええ、あらゆる意味でそのように受け取ってもらって。
So yeah, So of course, basically the island is a whole high school where the girls get to learn how to control their powers. Oh boy. And yet Rinka and Ranka are the only two who are appropriately dressed for any school activities. And I say appropriately dressed in the biggest fucking air quotes possible. Because that dress and skirt do fucking nothing. But we're gonna get into that soon enough.
それにあんたさ、さっきから殺すって物騒なこと言ってるけど、冗談だと思っているのか？お姉ちゃんにかすり傷一つでもつけたらただじゃ済まさないよ。 ランカちゃん、喧嘩はダメだってば。リンカさんの言う通りよ。あなたたちはこれから同じクラスになるんだから仲良くしてもらわなくちゃ。同じクラス。V ウイルスの感染者は若い人がほとんどなの。だからこの島には学校があるのよ。あなたたちは同じクラスで治療プログラムを受けてもらう予定だったんだけど。クズ竜って言ったっけ？
Keep in mind that I might be doing another game similar to this, although probably not as fan-servicey, before I touch Persona 5. Again, I'm gonna wait a little bit before I touch Persona 5. Atlas has only kind of recently eased up on the policy of, like, recording footage and stuff like that. And only by a little bit. Like, they'll let you go about as far as November. And I would very much like to get through the entire game. But I will get to Persona 5 soon enough. If I don't do another game after this, it'll be Persona 5. Don't worry. I'll get to it. But first, fan service!
VR ウイルスにはそれ用に組んだ特別な治療プログラムが必要なの。だからあなたたちに関しては別のクラスというわけにはいかないの。ごめんなさいね、ランカさん。
You're going to get over the fact that you're classmates with a huge murderer. I imagine Momo is a freaking assassin.
エクスターとリブレイターの両方の能力を同時に持つ。そんなことも知らずにここまで生き抜いてきたのか。エクスター？リブレイター？エクスターは肉体を物質化して武器、アームへ変貌させる。
So basically, X-Tars are your weapons from Soul Eater, and Liberators are your Meisters. Again, I'm gonna make a few references to Soul Eater, mainly because, you know, the main mainly because the main plot is kind of similar to Valkyrie Drive, oddly enough.
V ウイルスの保持者はみんな同じだと思ってた。じゃあ私たちは特別な存在ってことなんですか？そうよ。だからこのビクニへ移送されたの。すごいわ。私って特別だったんだ。
Oh, Mana's so happy. She's doing her little dance. Now she calmed down.
だから VR ウイルスの保持者は同じクラスにまとめられるんですね。そういうことなら仕方ないか。クズ竜と一緒のクラスでも我慢するよ。パートナーなんていらない。どうせ私以外はみんな。
Damn. Momo is cold.
そうならないための治療でしょ。そんなこと言う。
So of course she's gonna be partnered up with Mana.
ね。一時的になら組んでもいい。私の目的の邪魔をしないなら。もちろんそれでいいわ。ランカさんもいいでしょ。まあ、そうしなきゃ治療できないって言うなら仕方ないよね。
Yeah, these cutscenes do get a bit long in the tooth, I have to admit. Compared to the amount of gameplay that you go through, yeah, a bit long.
友達じゃない。慣れ慣れしく名を呼ぶな。それと、お尻を触るな。
So wait, was Mana feeling up her ass or something? I guess she was. But I'm sure Momo will change her tune by the end of the game. Because, you know, anime. And we can see this character arc from a friggin' mile away. If I haven't mentioned this before, this is going to be somewhat of a blind playthrough, but this game does offer you the chance to replay story stages over and over again, to either find collectibles you might have missed or to just grind for a bit. So I'm going to be doing that. I'm going to be grinding a lot. Very poor choice of words for this game, but that's what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be leveling up a lot off screen, just so I don't have to waste that much time with cutting down through a bunch of random mooks. And also, if I miss a collectible here or there, I'll definitely cut back to show where it was. Because if you're one of those 100%ers who needs to find all the collectibles, oh boy, I'm here for you, don't worry.
ここで何をするんですか？難しく考えることはないわ。いつも通りに能力を使えばいいだけ。能力って言われても、でも思いっきり暴れればいいってことでしょ？ランカちゃんはいつもそうやって簡単そうに言うけど。
Oh, okay, so our opponents are robots, so no big deal. Just go frickin' apeshit and just murder the robots. Although this next fight scene does seem to kind of contradict that, in my opinion. And of course, we can't play as Ranka just yet. We'll get to play as her soon enough. And she's pretty fun to use. Rinka's more like with combos. Ranka seems to be more with heavy damage. But maybe that's just me and how I play. Maybe that's just my impressions of the characters. And I kind of like the fact that I may not show it off, but you have to unlock characters. It's so refreshing to be able to unlock characters. Okay, so now here we go. Here's one of the collectibles. Fragments. Okay. There's 3 fragments per stage. Although not every stage has fragments. But that's not the only collectible you have to look for in Valkyrie Drive. Each stage has their own set of collectibles. Okay, how is that a robot? Armed girl. That just looks like a regular girl with like a freaking claw hand. And she sounds like a regular girl. I think the director might have been lying to us. I think it's like the Rick and Morty thing. They're just robots, Ranka. Like, Ranka's beating the shit out of them. Rinka's going like, oh, I don't know what to do, Ranka. They're just robots, Rinka. They're just robots. And then, like, Rinka cuts one in half. And he's like, they're not robots at all, Ranka. They're just other schoolgirls. I don't respect them. You actually murdered a bunch of your fellow classmates there, Rinka. You murdered them in cold blood. They had families. They were trying to have the virus cured as well. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. The fragments form lingerie. It shows it's just a frickin' brassiere. It's just a frickin' brassiere. God. So now the game's getting into something fun, something that's not embarrassing. Launchers! Everybody loves launchers. Launchers and pursuits, and you can do air combos and shit. So that's not embarrassing. That's pretty fun, right? That's cool. Oh god. But no, look how freaking sick the air combos are. Look how sick the aerial combat is. And you can spike enemies down and just smash them onto the floor like this. Bam! That's fun. That's not embarrassing. Oh god. See, it's kind of similar to Odin Sphere. And that game had a Valkyrie in it too. You can do aerial combat in this game. It's not embarrassing, it's fun. It's good. It's cool. You can do air dashes and frickin' like just... Oh god. And of course, the skirt just cannot help but frickin' like just blow away. God dang it. chest guard and let it You know, Valkyrie Drive, you are becoming increasingly hard to defend. Oh, God. The most embarrassing collectible fucking ever. And your reward for finding the chest guard is lingerie. Because of course it is. I guess I'll show off all the rewards that you get from finding all the fragments or the chest guards or whatever the hell else is you need to collect, like, toward the end of the series. And also, that fragment right there, I don't get it just right away. Embarrassingly enough, you know, I missed it. But I show off, you know, picking it up. It's an embarrassing, you know, that I didn't pick it up right away. Because I assume, because, like, when you finish this combat tutorial, like, the stage is over. They don't let you, like, go pick it up. You have to pick it up during combat. See, I was going for it, but then it just, yeah. The stage just ends. Ah, well, we'll see what the fragment does after we level up a bit. So double S ranks. That's pretty cool. So I'm gonna go for all double S ranks because unlike a few of the other games I've Let's Played before, rank does affect the ending of this game. It does affect story stuff. So you need to get all double S's. So here's that other fragment that I forgot to pick up, and it's a pair of underwear, of course it is. And also we get to see a bit of Ronka's gameplay. Because once you finish up a stage, you can immediately play it again with whatever character you want. And I really like Ronka's gameplay. It's just in your face, up and personal, just punch a motherfucker. I like Ronka. They just can't help but get all the friggin' physics and upskirt shots they can. Even though I am outright refusing to use the gyro controls for this shit. And I didn't mention what happened whenever I did this with, when I was playing as Rinka, but we get the second drive. We're gonna get into that soon enough. So we got new lingerie! That's always fun. We're gonna get into what drives are. The titular Valkyrie drive in the next portion, in the next little gameplay segment. Congratulations! You passed by beating the shit out of your classmates. But I thought they were robots. No, we just told you that, you know, so you wouldn't hold back. Again, Momo is just extremely standoffish. She is just She does not have the best, she does not have much patience with, Mana. Well, Mana's not arguing, it's more like Momo is just being kind of a dick. Bhikkhuni. I'm pretty sure that's how it's pronounced, Bhikkhuni. Valkyrie Drive, Bhikkhuni. Mermaid is a lot easier to say, is all I'm saying. There's loads of facilities for you to use. We haven't gotten to my favorite character in the game yet, though. Oh look, here's Koharu. She's another girl in the game that you can play as. She uses what appears to be a rapier.
書類とか手続きとかつい面倒で後回しにしちゃうのよね。ビクニの理事長であるあなたがそんなことでは困るんですけど。まあまあいいじゃないの。理事長先生、その子は？ちょうどよかった。紹介するわ。月影小春さん。あなたたちと同じ VR クラスの生徒よ。月影小春です。よろしく。私は神楽坂凛香さんでしょ。それと妹の蘭香さん。名前覚えてくれてるんだ。嬉しいな。そちらが九頭龍桃さんと稲川真奈さんね。今日からこちらでお世話になる稲川真奈と申します。どうぞよろしくお願いします。
I haven't mentioned this, but we have not yet gotten to my favorite character in the game. At least design-wise. We'll get to her soon enough. Again, I'm going into this game pretty blind. Again, I don't know that much about the characters' personalities, but I do know their designs. And my favorite character design, and my favorite character as far as designs go, is not here yet. Viola. That is the name of the character I like a lot. I'm assuming you could probably put 2 and 2 together and guess who that might be. Just from the intro cinematic. But I'm sure we'll meet her soon enough. Aw, Koharu doesn't want to hang out with us. Oh well.
私たちはクラスメートです。少し経てば顔を突き合わせて学ぶことになるわ。それもそうか。じゃあまた今度ね、小春ちゃん。ええ、いずれまた。では、ビクニを。
Seriously, everyone is just stacked to the hilt. Ridiculous. I'm surprised the island isn't just a giant pair of boobs. Whatever. So this splash screen also gives you kind of an idea of who you're going to be playing as. So we get to play as Ranka, officially. It's so cute they had the exact same poses. I guess that's because they're sisters. Keep that in mind, folks. And it's gonna get very awkward later on when I have to bring up that fact again. Well, I guess you guys aren't eating. Oh, that's cool. They give you all the basic necessities. You gotta use points. I imagine you get those from beating the shit out of people. Bhikkhuni. Bhikkhuni points. Couldn't we just call them BP? Just calling them points seems a little boring. BP sounds a lot cooler. Uh-oh, someone appears to be hacking the signal. She uses a hammer, apparently. Again, Rinka and Ranka have the exact same surprised animation. Jazz hands! Ichigoya. And we do mean anything, you perverts. She's kind of like Anna from Fire Emblem. I can control all electronics here. I have hidden cameras set up everywhere. Yeah, that is pretty shit security if bunny-eared girl can just, like, hack into it no problem. By dangerous, what do you mean exactly? Oh boy. So, Manpuku. She uses 2 machetes. And guess who my least favorite character in the game is? And apparently she's a cannibal. Yeah, I don't like this character. I may have purchased the game that's all about the Yuri, but still, I don't like her. I don't like this character at all. I don't like her personality. I don't like the whole, like, anything about her design. And this is also pretty fucking creepy, I have to admit. And guess which character doesn't have a partner in this game? Oh my god. That's creepy in I don't know what's creepier, the fact she wants to eat them or she wants to eat off of them. Can I hit her? I want to hit her. I agree with Ranka. Go nuts. Deck her in the face, Ranka. She's a bit special. It's hard to explain. Some guys are into that, I guess. They're the ones you have to watch out for. She's also a little slow in the uptake. You can't eat them.
あるメニューの半数で満腹丸ちゃんはお忙しいのだ。なんだか食べることしか考えてないみたいですけど。食べること以外に何を考える必要があるのだ？
It's almost as if that's the entire basis of her character, and therefore she's a shitty character.
確かにそうなのかも。
Again, I'm going into this blind. Maybe there is a traumatic reason why she's so obsessed with food. I don't like her right now. That's all I'm saying.
満腹丸さん、恐ろしい子。そうそう、これだけは覚えておいて。この島では治療プログラムに基づくすべての戦闘行為を奨励します。いついかなる時、いかなる場所で誰を
So just fight wherever the fuck you feel like it. I don't care.
ただ、食堂内での戦闘はご法度よ。
The cafeteria is the only area that's for, like, where combat's forbidden?
決まりを破った子には重い罰を。
So other areas are completely, like, good to go. Like, well, of course they are. Why wouldn't they be? Because, like, I'm foreseeing a shower battle, or a frickin' hot springs battle, or a bed battle. Although, given, like, the fact that Monpoku, or whatever her name is, Food Girl, even though we just clearly heard what she's into, you know a few more people are into that. I'm surprised that's an exception. Whatever. I don't claim to understand the rules of this island.
理事長先生がそう言うなら私は別にいいですけど。それじゃあ次の区画へ行きましょうか。ここが教育区画。あなたたちが学ぶ学園よ。新しい学校。
It looks an awful like a Japanese temple.
ランカちゃん。勉強からは逃げられないのか。とほほ。
Tohoho? That's the Japanese for sob, sob, sob?
一般の生徒用の
Okay.
部屋になっているわ。あなたたちが住む部屋も用意してあります。基本的に2人ずつ同じ部屋で寝起きしてもらうことになります。
Get ready for slumber parties.
これもパートナーと息を合わせるという治療プログラムの一環なの。リンカさんとランカさん、それから稲川さんとクズリュウさんが同室よ。
Yikes, good luck with that, Mana.
私、あの子と同室なんですか？私はそれで問題ない。
Oh, well, Momo's okay with it, I
ど
guess.
こへ行ってたの？慣れ合いはごめんだ。ああいうのは虫唾が走る。クズリュウさんは問題ないそうだけど、稲川さんの方はどう？それが決まりというなら従います。この島に知り合いがいるわけでもありませんし。なら部屋割りは決まりね。部屋の場所はマップにマーキングしてあるから迷うことはないと思うわ。今日はゆっくり休んでね。明日から治療プログラムを開始します。ありがとう、理事長先生。では失礼するわ。家を出て施設へ行くことが決まった時は少し不安だったけど。
So surprisingly, they don't show anything that happens in the bedroom.
ずっといいところみたいだね。
That's awfully restrained for this game.
早速お友達もできたし。
Oh, and here's a little fun fact. They did censor this game a bit. But it's not in the way you think. They censored the characters' ages. Yeah. That's a fun fact for you there. As in, they just took out the characters' ages, so that it wouldn't seem creepy for Western audiences.
V ウイルスをやっつけようね。うん。おはよう皆さん。昨日はよく眠れた？はい、もうぐっすり。それはよかったわ。それではこれより治療プログラムを開始します。いよいよだね。 ドキドキするな。あれ、そういえば他の人たちは？月影さんたちはもう次のプログラムに進んでいます。稲川さんと九頭龍さんはスタート地点が違うからここにはいないの。スタート地点？治療プログラムって何をするんですか？あなたたち2人にはここからスタートして修練場を目指してもらいます。それだけ？楽勝っぽいね。だといいけどね。
I think the director is having some very, like, more sinister motives than we're led to believe. Real bond between sisters, huh? We're gonna see what that entails, exactly. Who are you two posing for? So now we get to officially play as Ranka. And my god, as I said before, that skirt does fucking nothing. So pick up the embarrassing fragments of embarrassment. Oh, and you can also do like Dark Souls and frickin' dodge roll all over the place if you want. Make it feel like an actual video game. So now we have our mid-boss character, Leader Girl. Okay, that looks a bit more like a robot, but I'm still inclined to believe that's actually just a regular girl who just has armor on. See, they get into character action shit. This is surprisingly, like, in-depth for a game like this. And they have attack canceling. Like, a lot of stuff that you see in a character action game. They have a lot of character action, like, characteristics in a game that is, you know, pretty much just about, like, that's pretty much just a Yuri anime. It's very surprising. I was expecting kind of just, like, the most barest bones frickin' game ever. And yet I'm getting all this character action shit and like air juggles and frickin' launchers and perfect dodges and frickin' all this other shit. And now we get to the drive mechanic, aka, well, this. So with the power of the bond between the two characters, the X-Tar becomes a mighty powerful weapon that the Liberator can use. In Ranka's case, she gets gauntlets, which are really freaking cool. Rinka, on the other hand, gets a big-ass sword. Like, pretty much everybody's weapon is just like a way more defined version of their starting off weapon. And also, if you remember, like, whenever I finish up the second stage, there's a thing called second drive. Because, as you can probably notice, under the attack bar right there, there are multiple levels of drive for each character, depending on how high level that you've gotten your X-Star to. And you can keep activating drive after drive after drive as long as you keep increasing the drive gauge, until you finally get to the fourth drive, which is the final drive. And the process of going through these drives is... You know what? I'm just going to let it speak for itself when we get there. And the way you build up drive is either by doing perfect dodges, or doing aerial combos, or just beating the shit out of your opponents in general. I seriously like Ranka's style. It's just smash them with your fist. Your giant gauntleted fist. It's just not fair for them. So now we need to hit a sculpture. I wonder what this is gonna turn into. Yeah, I'm not freaking shocked. So we get another fragment. The most embarrassing collectibles. So we'll have a new reward for us at the end of the stage. There is a chest guard in this for this map that I missed, but I'm going to show off. I am going to show off where it is after we get through this story mission. Yeah, the dash that's what it's for. There can be no dignity in this game. Zero dignity. Oh god. So now you can pick up items to further increase your drive gauge or heal up. So now it's time for a boss fight. So hey, we get to fight Mana and Momo. Yeah, Mana uses a bow and arrow. Although surprisingly... Now you think this would be kind of a poor matchup between someone who just uses their bare hands, well, gauntlets, versus someone who uses a freaking bow and arrow. But not really. Rather surprisingly, the bow and arrow is not as broken in combat as one might be inclined to believe. Yeah. So, here's another aspect of the frickin'... Here's another aspect of the frickin', like, boss fights. Because it wouldn't be a game, because of course, from the creators of Shenron Kagura, there has to be clothing damage. Because of course there has to be. Oh. And it can get worse than that, ladies and gentlemen. It can get much worse than that. That's about as tame as it gets. Oh. You can pretty much just strip them completely naked. Oh god. There is no dignity to be found in this game. I think it's fun, but at the same time, it's definitely a guilty pleasure. The guiltiest of pleasures. Okay, so boss fight over. And of course, they have to have the fucking panting, because it's just like, oh god. Did they just want to make a hentai? Is that all they wanted to do? Did they just want to make a hentai video game? Because there are easier ways to go about this. You don't have to put in this much effort with the combat if you just want to make a hentai video game. You don't have to do all this. You don't have to make me think that the combat is good. You know? God. So this was obviously done before I showed off the second stage while playing as Ronka. So yeah, we got the new lingerie. So let's go ahead and find that chest guard. And as you probably noticed, Ronka's gauntlets look a lot more detailed. They're a lot more red. That's because that's showing off what second drive is. So, yeah, I'm never gonna get over that fucking collectible. That's the most embarrassing thing. And of course, I didn't notice this before, but they all teleport in like fucking Sailor Moon, where they just like have the moon prism power and they're just all naked and shit. Fuck. Okay. So now Ronka is a lot stronger than she was before. And this version of Ronka has access to the third and final drive. And she can also use a super move. So this fight with Mana and Momo is going to go by a lot quicker. Here we go. Here's her super move. Watch how much damage this does. Yeah. That's pretty good. So before we go ahead and finish her off, final drive. They're sisters, by the way. They're sisters. There you go. So this is what final drive does. Each consecutive drive after your first, the girl strips off more of her clothes, because that's how much stronger the bond is. And also your weapon gets a lot cooler looking. So there's the ultimate form of Ronka's weapon. It's just a giant demon face gauntlet thing. It looks cool. And of course, each consecutive drive has their own version of their super move. Or at the very least, the final drive has its own unique move compared to, like, the first drive. So, that was what final drive looks like. And that is what, yeah, and that's where the chest guard was. So now double S. Like I said before, I'm going to be going for all double S's. For some reason, I don't think that's going to be that hard. So yeah, I kind of leveled them up a little bit. So they're pretty strong. Also, a thing you'll notice in this next cutscene. You know that costume damage? You know that whole clothing damage that we just saw? Yeah, that carries over into cutscenes. Yeah, so Mana's kind of stripped a little bit. Now this cutscene takes place after the first time I finished the stage, not when I did the final drive. Because God knows, I don't know if Rinka would be completely naked if that were the case. I guess we'll find out soon enough. That'd be a little awkward. Mana, put on some clothes. Have some shame. So, tone it down a little bit there, Momo.
ねえ、ランカちゃん、今何か言った？私じゃない。でも、私にも聞こえた。
So I wonder what the teachers in this game will be like. Will they be equally busty women? Or maybe even bustier. Yeah, that'd be an interesting choice. You know, that'd be typical in an anime. It might be like Tsunade or something like that from Naruto. Yeah, there you go. That's a teacher for you. Or it could be a giant fucking robot. Oh my god. What the fuck? It's just a giant robot. It's a giant robot gorilla. Okay. I wasn't expecting this. 4 pillar gods. What the fuck? Congo. She seems like a nice lady. She's a giant robot, Rinka. Oh my god. Momo wants to go fight a giant robot. Oh my god. Oh my goodness. So, not exactly the busty teachers I was expecting. But you know what? This is better. This is at least a little bit more tolerable and a little bit more... You know, this I can understand and I kind of can appreciate a bit more. Because honestly, you know, we have enough fan service in the way of like, you know, Opie and Yuri and stuff like that. Some giant robots make this a lot easier to swallow. Oh my goodness. Ten laps around the island? 10 laps around an entire fucking island? Well, this is gonna be awkward for Mana because A, she, you know, half her clothes been ripped the fuck off, and also she wears clogs. She's wearing like sandals. That's gotta be a bitch and a half to run in. Well, there they go. You know, I'm not even gonna justify that one. Just gotta keep drilling into it. Just gotta drill him with everything I got. Okay, so now we get to the frickin' chapter select for story mode. You can choose whatever chapters you want. Hey, if you're missing a collectible, it's no big deal. You can go back and look for it and find it, and hey, there you go. But keep in mind, you need to get double S ranks for certain chapters of the game in order to unlock all the endings for this game. Oh yeah, this game has multiple endings. But let's go ahead and go to the dining room. This is where you can talk to all the characters, and also you can use the touchscreen mechanic to build a better relationship with all the characters, to develop the romance level. Okay, at the time of the recording, I at first did not know how exactly to use the touchscreen mechanics, because I'm playing this on a PlayStation TV, and this is initially for the Vita. I mean, I eventually found out how to do it, and I'll definitely show that off in future updates. But so far, what it basically boils down to is you have a giant, like, you know, Smash Brothers white glove hand just hovering over the characters and clicking on them, and then you get a bunch of yellow hearts. That's so far what it is. I imagine, again, the creators of Senran Kagura, it's gonna get a lot more intimate and awkward as the game progresses. Just to keep that in mind. Anyway, so we're just chatting with all the other characters. They kind of had their own 2 cents on what the whole deal with the island is. And more characters will probably be added to this later on. Now, I didn't mention this, and I probably should have done this earlier. There is DLC for this game, where you can play as the 2 characters from the anime, or at least one of them, and the other one acts as the weapon. I don't know if I'm going to commit to buying that DLC. I may, but maybe not. Anyway, enough about that. Alright, so that was the first update of Valkyrie Drive Bhikkhuni. We're going to find out what happens with Mana and Momo in the next update. So, until then, thank you so much for watching. Oh boy. This is gonna be an interesting series. Oh, what the fuck is becoming of my channel? Anyway, see you next time.